You set up conditional formatting and nothing happens. The rule looks right, the numbers look right, but Excel just ignores it. Usually the problem isn't Excel, it's one of a few small things that are easy to miss. Conditional formatting is one of the fastest ways to make important information stand out in Excel. But when it doesn't work, it can be frustrating because the problem often isn't obvious. Today we're going to walk through the most common causes and how to fix them. Let's set sail. In all the examples we're looking at today, I have a list of travel expenses to various destinations. And in this first sheet, I want to highlight all the costs that are greater than $700. So I'm going to go to the conditional formatting tool, new rule, and use a formula, B2 greater than 700, and we're going to make it this green color. Click OK, and now nothing happens. And to troubleshoot this, we go back into the conditional formatting rule by going to conditional formatting and manage rules, and you can see the rule we just created. And the formula looks okay, but in this case, it's only applied to B2, so it's only going to conditionally format B2. And that's because when I created it, I only had B2 selected. But that's easy to fix. We can click on that little up arrow, select all the rows that I want to have for conditional formatting, and then click on this little button, this down arrow, and has now changed the applies to B2 to B6. And we click OK, and now the conditional formatting is applied to all the rows. One thing to be sure of if your conditional formatting isn't working right is to check which cells it's being applied to. In our second example, I'm going to apply the same rule to this set of data. New rule, formula, and click OK. And it applied highlighting to all of the cells. And we know that 450 is not greater than 700. So what happened here? All these cells are actually text values. They're stored as text, they're not stored as numbers. And this is where these Excel warnings actually are helpful. You have the green triangle in the upper left and this alert, and it's telling you the number in this cell is formatted as text. And that's what's causing our problem. There's an easy way to fix this. We can click on the little drop down arrow and click convert to number. And as soon as I do that, Excel applies the conditional formatting correctly. This might happen if you either import data from a file or if you're copying and pasting from another source into your spreadsheet. And sometimes numbers get formatted as text. It is also easy to fix all of them at the same time. We can highlight all the cells here that are numbers and are formatted as text. Click this drop down and choose convert to number. And now all of our costs have become numbers and the conditional formatting applies correctly. Another problem you might run into, if you've applied multiple conditional formatting rules to a single cell or a range of cells, you may get results that don't make sense. And in this case, I've applied a rule that says if the cell is greater than 500, make it blue. And if the cell is greater than 700, make it green. And you can see that the cells that are greater than 700 are still blue instead of green like I expected. And to help figure out what might be going on, again, we're going to go into conditional formatting and manage rules. And you can see the two rules I have applied. And the order here matters because it's going to look at the first rule and then the second rule. And it's evaluating this first rule and assigning the formatting, and it's not looking at this second rule. Now what we can do is reorder these rules, click the first rule and click this move down, and it moves that blue greater than 500 down, and the greater than 700 is now on top. And if we click OK, and now the conditional formatting is working as we expect. It's taking values greater than 700 and giving them a green fill color, and the values that are greater than 500 and giving them a blue color. So the thing to remember is if the formatting looks strange, check the rule order as well and make sure that is aligned to what you expect. Another problem you might encounter is if you want to highlight the rows for each of these destinations where the cost is greater than 700, you might select the entire table and choose conditional formatting, new rule, and we're going to put in the same rule, and we're going to format it green and click OK. And now we see it's only highlighted the cities and not the entire row. And the reason for that, again, we're going to go in and look at manage rules. So we're going to make our same selection in conditional formatting, manage rules. And you see that the formula here is B2 greater than 700. And because we've applied that to 2 columns, the B2 that's looking at column A is looking at B2, B3, B4, B5, B6. When it applies that conditional formatting to column B, it's actually looking at column C. So C2, C3, C4, C5, C6. And those are all blank. None of those are going to be greater than 700. Now the fix for that is we want to lock on column B. So we use the $sign, and that means it will always look at column B and the corresponding row to check and see if it's greater than 700. And so we'll click OK and OK again. And now it highlights the entire row. So here's a troubleshooting checklist for you when your conditional formatting is not working the way you expect. First, make sure that the rule is applied to the correct range. Second, make sure your numbers are actually numbers and not stored as text. The third thing is asking, are there any conflicting rules? So check your rule order and make sure 2 rules aren't trying to be applied to the same cell. And the fourth thing is to check the cell references in your formulas to make sure that they're correct. And if you want to lock to a single column, you've done that by using a $sign next to the column letter in your conditional formatting formula. Most conditional formatting issues fall into one of these categories. Conditional formatting is incredibly useful once you understand how Excel evaluates the rules. So if something doesn't work, it's usually just one small detail. And knowing what to look for makes everything a lot easier to troubleshoot. So until next time, I wish you smooth sailing.